welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raff.
We did it, we made it.
Because when a band's name starts being everywhere, it can be very easy to go like, okay, like.
Just because I know what it's like to feel left out and to feel like people are weird or mean to you, and so I never want to be that person, and I want...
This here is my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
Big opportunity. You guys must be stoked you're on the first day too, because you can just sort of shoot. Yeah, you can just relax.
Brian was sitting down with his longtime friend and his former bandmate Meegs from Cold Chamber, and they were having coffee, and Brian was...
When those questions go, those hearty chuckles.
You know what that laughter says to me is like, people y'all don't even know what's coming. People just are gonna be minds are gonna be blown by that.
No, it will be a fucking banger.
What's going on, all you amazing people? My name is the Reverend Raff, and I am joined once again by my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy. We are the Two Dudes Who Talk Music, and it is Thursday, which once again means it is time for another episode of the Two Dudes Talk Music podcast. As you guys may be aware, we have been focusing our episodes this year on the upcoming Whisperfest show taking place out at Dubbo on the 1st of March. It's featuring Deprivation, Whisperhead, Anton Amasia, our guests today, Inherit Nothing, and a bunch of cool other bands. Make sure you go and check that one out. If you're from surrounding area, or if you're from Sydney, go out to Dubbo for the weekend for it. It's a great town. There's tons to do out there, and get along to Whisperfest while you're out there. Accommodation is cheap as anything. It's coming into the sort of, it's March, so maybe it's not quite as hot out there as you might normally get. So
exactly,
just a bit more chill on that regard for you. But yes, before we dive into that though, mate, how you doing? How you been? What have you been up to?
Not a great deal, eh? Just sitting here waiting for this fucking surgery. Just waiting to get this surgery out of the way now. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Trying not to do anything that might aggravate
I made a lasagna today. That's about it. My daughter tried a lasagna the other day, and then she looked up at me and went, "Oh, do you reckon you can make one of these, Dad?" I'm like, "I got you."
Okay.
So I made one today, and she was quite thrilled with it. So it's my first.
From scratch and putting all the layers down and everything.
Did the whole thing, did the layers down, did the whole lot, made the whole lot, and she absolutely went gaga for it. So
hell yeah, man.
I'm a happy dad. But other than that, man, not much.
Not too much.
Yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean. Yeah, go on. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say you got some new gas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, long story short, I got a tip off about a good deal on an instrument, which unfortunately got damaged by cash converters at Capella Bar because they didn't know what they had. But picked up a new Fender Precision. But unfortunately, they gouged the fuck out of the headstock and did a whole bunch of damage to it. So I figured, well, they've already damaged it. So, and this is the bass I was talking about in the last episode there. So, I went and picked it up, and, I figured, what can I do to give it a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Give it a bit of character. So took it apart, cleaned everything, tidied things up a bit, and then I covered as much of it as I could with gaff tape. So
that looks really weird. It looks normal. It looks...
You know what? Yeah, like that's it. You get a bit of distance, and it just looks like a black...
Yeah.
Just like a black Fender Precision, but, like you can see the gaff tape pattern there. You can see on the back as well. Like...
Oh, dude, it's even got the
and the headstock as well. Like I took all the hardware out of that and did all the tiny little sections, So I think there's one. I've just noticed one tiny little bit up the top that's not quite covered, but so that is.
That looks good. I'm actually really surprised that looks that good.
The official, the official G bass, if you want to call it that, gaff bass. But hey, yeah, it's it's a Mexican Fender Precision. Got a good deal on it with a hard case, so I, didn't even use the good gaff on that. I used the cheap gaff.
Oh,
used the cheap gaff. So and then
that's punk as fuck.
What I'm probably even going to do is get strap locks. The strap locks like clip in. So it's got like a clip.
Oh.
So the actual attachment that the bit that actually attaches to the pin on the guitar doesn't come off. So I'm actually thinking of grabbing one of those and then like putting that on, but then also gaff taping around that on the end of the thing just for a bit more character on it. And so, you know, probably gonna pair that one up with the sticker bombed J bass that I've got.
Nice.
For a certain project that is still in the works.
Yes.
So I'll pair up the two passive basses for that, for different tunings and stuff. And
nice.
so yeah, but I'm gonna have a bit of fun with that. Like it plays quite nicely
I mean,
so
the
far.
main thing, that's what I was going to say, how she sounds.
Yeah, no, it plays quite nicely so far. I still need to do a proper setup. There's a bit of fret buzz on one of the strings that I need to try and figure out. But you know, it's honestly though,
that'd just be the truss rod. You just probably need to tighten the truss rod.
Maybe it potentially yes, it could be that. Just sort of trying to. But if I can't fix it with a setup, I might need to take it down to get a fret leveling. But hey, that's just that's the life you lead with some of these. But yeah, so you know, I know
this is just a PSA to anyone out there: don't leave your guitars leaning up against the wall, because you will start to bow and flex your neck if you just leave them constantly leaned up against the wall all the time.
Yep. Get a proper stand, get a hanger, or whatever you want to do. But just make sure you take care of them properly. But yeah, so I got that, and it just kind of, the process that I ended up doing to it was a lot quicker than what I'd originally planned. So I just thought, you know what? I know I was talking about that being a bit of a project and maybe sharing some videos on the channel or doing some live streams for it on the channel, but what I ended up deciding to do with it was a lot quicker than I originally planned. So it's just get it done, you know, get it done. But yeah, so you know, I've done that, and that'll be, you know, like all the hardware's, you know, decent, really good nick. It's only a few years old. But since it got damaged, I was, you know, and the headstock had like the logo gouged out of it and everything. I wasn't going to be able to on sell it as what it was. So I'm like, well, it's already damaged. I may as well fucking go whole hog on it. And truth be told, if I ever really decide to take the tape off, you know, get myself some orange solvent or something, some of that orange adhesive solvent, and take that off, clean it right up, maybe replace the neck if I really ever want to sell it. But, you know, I don't think, I mean, it's a good bass. It's a good bass. You know what I mean?
That's it.
So, but yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of what's been going on there. I haven't been doing too much else, man. It's just been back at work and catching up on everything. And yeah, just that whole thing.
Yeah, Crimbo Limbo over, man. Back to reality.
Unfortunately. Snap back to reality, as the great poet said. But yeah, we're going to get into it here. Like I said, we got Jesse from Inherit Nothing, and we're going to be diving in, talking all about the band, their brand new album, as well as Whisperfest. Let's get to it. Thank you very, very much for joining us today, Jesse. We greatly appreciate that. Now, Kyle has told me a little bit about you guys because he's seen you guys play a couple of times. I have not, but I've been checking out the stuff that's online, and I dig it. Big fan of letting the Aussie accent through on those vocals. I know it's something that, you know, a lot of people tend to get in the habit of not mimicking necessarily, but you know, they learn to sing by singing the songs that they like and they enjoy listening to when they're coming up and when they're discovering heavy music, and that often leads to singing with, you know, that sort of American affectation, or a bit more of the, you know, the Aussie accent gets lost a little bit, but it's always nice when a band can have that come through. Is that something that you kind of worked on intentionally, or it's just kind of how things happened?
Kind of how things happen. Like, I listen to a lot of like hardcore bands and a lot of bands that really represent their area, like from New York and Canada and all that sort of stuff. And their accent there is very prominent. So I wanted my accent to be as prominent and to represent where I'm from as much as possible. Like, for example, we've still got Lavington hardcore in our bio. So, like, you know, Lavington's a suburb that's in Albury. Like, we're an Albury band, but we still represent the part of Albury we're from. So it very much came from a place of being as authentic as possible to the audience as much as we could, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
It does. Well, I mean,
just tried
hardcore
to
has that.
be as genuine as we can.
Hardcore does have that thing of authenticity that goes along with it. If you're not authentic, you get found out pretty quick.
Yeah,
don't you?
you get a bit of heat, but that's just how it is. But yeah, it very much came from listening to New York bands, hearing that New York accent, and going, "Well, what have I got? I'm not from New York, so I'm a bogan Australian who is from a small town." So let's make that up.
Lean into it. Lean into it.
I mean, we
man.
were,
That's it.
Kyle and I we literally just, at time of recording yesterday, there was, we just dropped a reaction to Whispers, a hardcore band from Bangkok. And
okay.
their sound is like peak 90s New York hardcore sound. It's just the mix and everything about it. And it's like, while some genres, can have a very broad thing of mixing, there's sometimes a certain specific subgenre there can have very, very niche and specific mixing and sound requirements to fit into that
100%.
to fit into that vibe. And if you haven't checked those cats out, put them on your list, because
I'll check them out after this now. Yeah, definitely.
They're ripping shit up, and they're they're absolutely killing it. So, but speaking of killing it, you guys are obviously gaining some traction, doing pretty well for yourselves. And you'll be playing on Whisperfest, which is coming up March 1st in Dubbo. So if you haven't got your tickets for that yet, get your fucking tickets, because we've been saying this the whole time. Like, the lineup is hectic. I mean, obviously we had Whisperhead on, we've had Anton Amasia on.
Well, yeah, you've got
Deprivation headlining,
which
is just like deprivation's deprivation. Like, you can't, they ain't nothing to fuck with, right? Like,
it's a perfect mix. You got grind. You got metalcore, hardcore, metalcore with a female fronted singer. Like, it's
you got
Thraxis. You got thrash,
straight up metal from Thraxis and the guys. It's a nice range that they got on presentation there.
Yeah. Like, if I was to just being a person that just doesn't really like doing that whole box thing, just goes, I love heavy metal, it doesn't matter what you sort of throw at me, that's a fucking perfect day for me.
Oh, I'm not going to get a taste of everything.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know it sometimes irks people when we because Kyle and I, we're kind of past the point of bothering too much about niche or subgenres divisions and stuff. We're like, has it got heavy guitars and does it sound heavy as fuck? Yes, then we're just calling it metal. Like, I'm sorry, that's what we call it. If it metalcore, deathcore, any kind of core genres, punk, whatever, it's always it's metal. We just kind of throw it all under that label for ease of
100%.
Ease of shit, because I'm like, there's no point getting
a bit
crazy specific with this stuff.
We were a bit nervous, to be honest, because we obviously were a hardcore band to start off with, and our drummer at the time wanted to go down a more nu metal route, and we were like, oh, well, how do we sort of link nu metal and hardcore together? And the album is very much that, but how do we kind of say that? Because we've got hardcore punk songs, we got punk pop songs, we've got nu metal songs, and we got metalcore songs, and there's going even down to the point of deathcore with a couple of our tracks. So we're very bit hesitant to sort of box ourselves in with one of those things, because someone outside of that thing might be like, no, I've listened to this song and that's not that at all. So we've kind of just stuck with hardcore as a box thing for now, because that's predominantly what most of our songs are. But I think it's very much going to take our next release to sort of really be boxed in with something. So.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
what you described there was perfect for nu metal. There, it's like a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that. That's what nu metal was back then.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You listen to a band like Head PE, right, and they just kind of throw genre out the window a lot of the time. Like, they'll have hip hop, punk,
Yeah.
rock and roll, metal, whatever, new metal. They'll
Yeah.
just mix everything all on the one album
100%.
and throw
Yeah.
the shit out there. Like they got tracks that go from like almost like a rap kind of hip hop energy to a more like punk rock type thing in the choruses, and then back again, and then like
Yep.
you just throw genre out the window. Do what you
Yeah,
want to do.
100%.
Go the direction that you want to go, and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And that's the way I want to look at it these days. It's just too
Yeah.
life's too short to get yourself boxed in like that.
100%. And it makes you very limited with like your next release kind of thing. Like, where are you going to go kind of thing? Like, are you going to just play hardcore songs for the rest of your life? Are you going to play new metal songs for the rest of your life? Are you going to, branch out and kind of, experiment a little,
Exactly. Experimenting and evolving. It's the best part. Some of the best
100%.
parts of being a creative person is trying those
Especially
new
when you're
things.
unsigned and stuff as well. You're not forced into you've made this album, I want 5 more of these, please. It's like, no, I can do what I want when I
100%.
want. If we don't feel like doing this, if we want to throw a ballad on the next song, guess what? You can do it.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, we've had the conversation of doing more hip hop stuff. I've thrown at the guitarist doing maybe a bit of a country and western song, like similar to what Avenged Sevenfold did back on the self-titled album. Guitarist isn't quite convinced yet, but there's still that the conversation's there, and that's purely come down to we don't have anyone at the top going, you need to do this, you need to do that kind of thing. Like we're unsigned, we don't have a manager, we don't have a book. Like I'm the closest thing in the band that is a manager, and still I'm not even the one saying we need to do this, we need to do that. It's very much it's a democracy, because these guys are. The guitarist has been my friend since 2011, and that's 14 years. Our
Don't say
previous
that.
drummer.
Yeah.
Don't say 2011 was 14 years ago.
Is what it is,
fuck.
man.
That was 3 years ago. That was 3 years ago.
Oh, I want to vomit.
I've been friends with
my
our
God.
previous drummer for maybe 10 years, and our new drummer who was just announced this past week, I've been friends with him for about 10 years as well. So our bassist is the only one that hasn't really been our friend for very long, but at the same time he's shown us that he is just a genuine human. He's very easy to work with. He's been in the band a bit over, I think he joined in July of 2023, so he's been in the band about a year and a half, and he's done, like, he pretty much predominantly wrote the album completely on his own. Like, I wrote lyrics, Andy and Liam very much assisted with what he was doing. But yeah, all the drafts and all the basic ideas came from him, and it was very much from a place of like, hey, what do we want to do? Like our songwriting process was just me messaging Dylan and being like, hey, can you do a song that's got this in it? And he'd be like, 3 business days later, the song would be there, kind of thing. So
Nice. 3 to 5 business days. Nice.
yeah, no, he's a good fella, and like he's become one of our good friends from just touring around Australia with him and having a good time, kind of thing. So
That's
awesome,
good though, man. That's good that you guys have been sort of mates for so long, and you're able to have those sort of bonds, because that's what that's one of the best parts about doing music is the bonds that you get to create with people and the shared experiences, because those times out on the road there, it's like no one, like, yes, other people can go on road trips and do all that other stuff, you know what I mean? But it's like those moments that you have with the quote unquote with the boys. And we're not saying, we're not saying that if there's women in the band, you don't have those moments. I'm just saying, using it as a colloquial catch-all term for like with your really close friends, you get to go up and do that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is, and that's the best part, some of the best parts, right? It's just some of the fun that you get to have along the way with it. So,
100%, yeah.
So obviously you guys have got the album that has come out. When was that late last year, or was that just just
so
dropped?
the album came out yesterday.
Fuck. Okay,
Nice.
there you go.
Yesterday, yeah.
Well, there you go. Yesterday at the time of recording.
look,
So if you're watching this episode pretty soon after it goes live, that's only been out for a couple of weeks. So you want to
Yep.
go and listen to it. Hostile Party by Inherit Nothing.
Yes.
It's, short, sharp, intense little collection of songs there.
Which
With
is what you want,
some good
especially this
shit.
day and age.
Yeah, for
100%,
sure. And like
100%.
it's,
And in track
featuring.
3, I chose Violence with
Yeah.
Nolan from
Yep.
Whisperhead as well.
Yeah. So is
that song's turned out to be our most popular one. I was kind of hoping St Kilda Beach should be our most popular song, but it's turned out to be the one with Nolan in it, and like I'm over the moon that that's the case. So and playing locally with Nolan on Thursday. So when this goes up, I don't know when it'll go up, but from now we're playing with Nolan in what couple of days, and our local scene will get to see firsthand what Whisperhead is like, what we are like with Whisperhead, and get to see that song as authentic as it can be. It's very exciting. So,
So I was gonna say,
yeah.
is he the plan is for him to get up and do that one with you guys?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, sharing that love.
We
like
love.
that's-
We talk about that all the time, man. How bands need to get more on the features and stuff like that. It's it's
100%,
just
yeah. We're very big on that. So,
like features, and not just like as a feature of okay, like we're doing a song and here is this featured person's bit, right? Like the way that A Killer's Confession did a track featuring Aaron from Gemini Syndrome,
Aaron
and
Nordstrom.
that was built like a duet rather than a feature.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it
weaving.
wasn't just like, okay, here's Aaron's part and he does his bit. It was like the whole song was like both of them, and they were, going and like working with each other, and sort of their voices, just really came together throughout so much of the song. It's a really, really great piece of work. And, so that's sort of, like obviously, the songs, not every song is going to work kind of that way, but I think that's a type of feature that we just don't see nearly as often these days, especially in metal. Like features are kind of becoming a bit more prominent again lately, but it's often, they'll get someone for a verse or for the breakdown section of the song or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas doing it as a true sort of collaboration or duet is a bit more rare. With things, but I think there's cases creatively for both. So okay, so like, are you guys got like a whole bunch of shows that you're playing with Whisperhead coming up?
So what do we got? We got Albury, Bendigo, Melbourne with Whisperhead. That's this coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then we've got March 1st at Whisperfest. And that's all for now. Obviously Whisperhead, None for One, they're I know None for One's not on Whisperfest, but they're two of our best band friends. So there's definitely the door down the line, whether it be this year, next year, that we could definitely play shows with them. So but as for right now, we are playing the next, I think, 4 shows with Whisperhead. So yeah, very, very excited.
Hell yeah. So I mean, look, that's like when you've got an event like Whisperfest coming up, if you can kind of do some other shows around the place with some of the other bands that are on that lineup, it's a nice little kind of thing. And people, if people, you could be like, hey, cool, like we're doing this now, and then in a couple of months, we're doing another show together, we're doing this one up here. And I mean, I guess it's not quite the same region, but it helps you guys get along, it builds that camaraderie. And then when Whisperfest comes around, especially, it's like, hey, like, yeah, we know how this goes, we know how each other works, we know it's going to be a smooth process, which just makes everyone happier. And when people are happy, they perform better.
Yeah, 100%. And I'd much rather play with bands that are easy to work with, easy to get along with, that are already my friends. Like, obviously, bands I don't know who are obviously easy to work with, the door's open there too. But yeah, bands that we're already friends with, bands that are easy, have the reputation of being easy to work with, I take those bands over working with a band that's significantly bigger than us. Because at the end of the day, I want the show to run as smoothly as possible. I want to ultimately have the best time, best vibe, and a good time over a good paycheck is just, I don't know, it's probably not for everyone, but that's
good attitude
that's
to
just,
have.
No,
that's just the attitude we have. Like, we're like, everyone in the band's nearly 30. We don't have time for fucking bullshit. We're not in this to be famous. We're not in this to be the biggest band in town or in the country. If that happens, we're not opposed to it. But we're
Exactly.
ultimately just here for a good time, and that's another reason I like working with Lance from Ram It Down. Is he's one of the easiest promoters to just work for. Like we rock up, we play, we have a good time, we have a good chat with Lance, and then we go home. So and we meet a lot of good bands along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of prefer that dynamic over playing with like a really big band, a really big up and coming band that might be just filled with fucking assholes.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
If you this
yeah.
is what we talk about constantly on the thing. It's like you need to have your
Yeah.
you need to be professional, you need to be respectful of everyone else's
Yeah.
time and everyone else being there, and just like be like everyone's gonna have bad days. No one's saying that you got to be the friendliest guy, friendliest person 24/7, right? But
Yeah,
just
100%.
be a decent fucking person. Like be a
100%,
decent person,
100%, yeah.
do your job, get your shit on stage, be ready to go on stage and get your shit up there when it's your time, and get
Yeah.
your shit off stage right the fuck away soon as you're done.
Yeah.
Don't stand on stage coiling your cables up. Just clatter all the shit onto your thing and get rid of it. Off stage, you can tidy it up later.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do
Or
what you
don't
need to
have
do.
cables.
Do what you need to do when you need to do it, and then get out of the fucking way. Don't
Yeah.
play. Be on time, be professional, be respectful, and that'll get you invited back to so many fucking shows.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%, yeah.
that goes so far over. Like if that might you might be playing with a band that maybe brings like 10, 15, 20 more people than you to the show, but
Yep.
if they're assholes about it, if they're dickheads and they're hard to work with, and they don't show up and they're not ready to go when they're supposed to go, and they play over their time, and then they take forever to get their shit off a stage and everything, and that disrupts the whole show, and then they're dickheads to the staff and everything and the other bands, like that, they're not going to get another show. Whereas you might not have pulled quite as many people to the show, but you're easy to work with,
Yeah.
respectful, and you make the whole process and the whole day go smoother. That's
Yeah.
going to get you way, way better results.
Yeah, 100%. And we don't even do it for that reason. We just do it because it's
Exactly,
like it's the right thing to do.
It's what comes naturally to you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah.
It's like the old trolley theory. You know the old how you can tell what people are like if they'll take the trolley back to their
Yeah,
if they
trolley
return
back
the
to their
cart to
car.
the thing, or if they leave it, if they just dump it wherever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, no, we have fun, and yeah, we get on the road. We we play Sydney quite regularly, so that's like a 6 hour drive from here, 5 hour drive ish maybe. And then we've played Newcastle, which is a 7 hour drive, and we just do it to get in the car and go play our music to a new crowd and have a bit of a boys' weekend while we're at it. And the missus is tag along sometimes, and that's fun too. And it's we very much treat it as a fun outing over obviously we market ourselves as well, but what comes first is very much having fun and playing a fun show. So
that's what
man.
it should be.
That's
At the end
it.
of the day, that's what all the hard work goes into.
Yeah.
Coming up the stage performance and all that, and you guys have one hell of a stage energy.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to ask the cover art for Hostile Party.
Yep.
Is that like? Did you guys is that an actual photo you guys put together? Is that like a stock thing? Is it an AI thing? Is it?
It is AI, man.
Okay.
We had the idea of all pretty much the concept of what we had is there. The original idea was us all sitting around a birthday party and looking blankly into the camera. What stopped that was a couple of reasons. Is we weren't sure where our drummer was going to be in 6 to 12 months time. We didn't want to announce a new drummer and have the old drummer
Very fair
in the shot kind of thing. He's been very honest. He's had some mental health issues, and we both parties weren't sure where he was going to be in 6 to 12 months time. Also another band locally at Transstate hadn't done quite the same thing, but it was very similar in nature. So we just opted against that and went with an empty birthday party. And we thought the easiest way, instead of spending a heap of money on it, was just to AI it. And honestly, like it didn't come out too bad. Like our new drummer was very much like, oh, like, you know, real art's better than AI art, and we agree with that. But with when we wanted the album out and everything we had planned, it was just more feasible and more easy to go the AI route. Not gonna recommend it for every band and to do it every time, but for where we're at as a band and what we wanted to do for 2025, it was the most kind of feasible thing to do, and the easiest way to get the album out and get the music into people's ears. So.
Cool, man. No, that's cool. Just because I was just looking at it, I'm just like, just was trying to.
I was thinking that,
because you know,
that's
I
like
mean,
one
it
hell
could
of a
be a stock
setup.
image from a weird stock image library or something. You never know. Like all these crazy shit comes out of there sometimes.
Full on, just full on fake AI.
No,
not even gonna hide it. Just that's how it is.
No, mate. Look, it's the way of the world now. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Like, you know,
I've been watching
like at the
some
end of
Shane Dawson videos, and he's very much warning everyone about the dangers of it, and I'm very aware of that. But
look,
for
at the end of the day, it all
occasional
depends
artwork,
on
you know.
the way you use it. When if you do start going somewhere and you do start making a bit of scratch, you know, it depends on what I guess you do moving forward. You know, you'd obviously, I'd like to think that you go out and go get a proper artist to go do your
100%,
start doing your album artwork once you make a bit of scratch. But at the end of the day, everything's got to come down to the mighty buckaroo.
Yeah, and with the cost of living, like it's just fucking crazy at the moment. Like
mate, you released 10 songs, that would have cost enough. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Spend all the money on the songs, man.
100%, man, 100%. And we'd rather to focus on our music over any image based things. Like we're very much what you see on stage is what you get. Like we're just four blokes that like hardcore punk, heavy metal music, that just get up on stage, have a bit of fun. Two of us drink beers, two of us are straight edge. So yeah, we have a bit of
Yeah, it's good. But I mean, really, like, not like, the whole thing with the AI, I think at the moment, it's not copyright anyway. So if someone else could use it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the only thing you got to be wary of, right? Is because it's AI generated, you can't claim any copyright over it. So someone else may be able to use it in full or in part for something. But you know, as long as it's I mean, you know, you're balancing risks and stuff. So
yeah.
And let's just
my son's about to go.
No,
love you too, Bubby.
Yeah.
Sorry,
nice.
guys. My son.
That's okay, man.
For the night.
You do your thing.
So what, 3 or 4?
He's 3.
Yeah, nice.
And his favorite member of the band is my new drummer.
Yeah, okay. Go on. Who is it? Spill the details.
Yeah, so our new drummer is Campbell. He used to play in a band called Sunday's Ruin and also played drums for Planet Evidence. And when Sunday's Ruin was active, my son's favorite band was Sunday's Ruin over mine. But yeah, Campbell's just a very nice, very, very genuine human. He's been one of my friends for a very long time. We've become closer since both starting bands and playing locally and doing all that sort of stuff. We both ran our first 3 shows together, which was the Hall of Hardcores. He's just a very vital part of Inherit Nothing, and only made sense that when Liam made the call to part ways with us, that we would bring Campbell in. Initially, it was just to fill in for the couple of shows for the start of the year, but the vibe was just a little bit too strong between obviously myself and him, because we're friends outside of music, but also between the other guys of Andy and Dylan, having their own personal vibe with him. And we gave him the offer to be our permanent drummer, and he said yes. So very, very, very happy about that.
Good, man.
But Sunday's Ruin were the bigger band in town at the time. When we dropped Surrounded by Wolves, we only had a certain amount of reach. We only had a certain amount of friends that were into heavy music. We only had a certain amount of people that were going to come to shows, and they they formed around the same time, but they had a bigger reach than what we did. So we're very appreciative that they were able to jump on shows with us and extend our reach out to their friends, supporters, family, all that sort of thing, and overall created the AWHC, well, over it on the hardcore. So yeah, we're very over the moon with that. And yeah, when the time came for him to look for another band and we were looking for another drummer, it just really only made sense.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
and look, I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome that
I feel obviously
with
feel
your
bad
old,
that your old drummer had to leave.
yeah, like it's sad that the
Yeah.
old drummer had to leave, obviously, but like it's good that he was able to be like handled really well.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and
yeah.
because that can be. There's so many. Well, it's often, you know, it's a relation. It's often like a relationship ending in some ways. It's just it's
100%.
like I've had to, you know, back when I was in Tensions Arise and I made the decision I was going to leave that band. I was like, okay, let me talk to Kazi first, and I kind of told him what was going on, and I'm like, cool. Now that he knows, I'll talk to the rest of the guys at the next rehearsal, let them know, and I'm like, hey, letting you guys. And this was like early in the year, and I'm like, end of the year, I'm going to be finishing up, you know.
Yeah.
And like I helped with like finding who was going to be coming in and giving my opinions on that, and providing resources for them to help them with the bass lines. And I'm like, if there's anything you're stuck with, let me know, I'll teach you the shit. And we got together on a couple of occasions to go over stuff, and it's just like when you can be like mature about it, and like obviously it was like the process was so good and so smooth because the rest of the guys were so good with it as well. You know, like if I'd tried to be good about it and they were like, no, fuck you, if you're leaving, you're out now. Well, okay, that would have been a different story, right? But like
100%.
it's nice when everyone's able to sort of be good about it and you know, kind of find a good way forward, you know.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, because we weren't sure how it was going to go. Like, obviously, we've made Liam aware of a couple of not so much issues between us and him, but more so like things that we noticed that we were concerned about, and we just said to him, "Hey, think about these things over the next couple of months." And yeah, he put up a video on his personal page that explains a little bit more, and yeah, I'll let sort of people go check out that over me explaining our side of the story. But yeah, I personally was a bit concerned about him and wanted the best for him. And yeah, he came back and said, "Look, I am going to focus on myself over the next 12 months. So I'll head my own way. But yeah, just know I love you, and obviously we love him too, and we hope for the best for him, and very excited to see what he does next." So
cool. Well, like all the best to him.
Yeah.
All the best to him. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I understand. And same with our new drummer too. Like they're still sort of like friends outside of music as well. So it's very much a case of like we're all of Inherit Nothing is very much looking out for all of the Orbidonga hardcores. Yeah, on Liam's team. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I really, it's something that I've always thought was really cool about the hardcore scene, especially in some of the more regional towns, is like how close everyone is, how supportive everyone is.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, everyone knows everyone.
exactly. Can't afford to be a cunt because
Not when there's like 20 of yous.
Yeah.
100%. Hopefully, there's more than 20 of us at this show on Thursday.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
We'll
You know
find
what I mean.
Yeah.
Look,
the first
did you guys?
hardcore, interestingly, the first All Hardcore had about 240 people, and by the third one, there was only about 30. So I think it was a bit of hype, bit of buzz, and then by the time they realised there was only 3 bands in town, it was a bit, all right, we'll wait for the next one. Anyway, we had fun and we had a blast, and all 3 bands had a blast.
I hope for the 240 again.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy, man. I don't think the capacity of that venue is 240. I think it's much smaller, but no one called us, and it's been nearly 2
Mate,
years.
I'm sorry, that's a hardcore show as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
That's like
man.
that is just like
we booked out a community hall in a residential area, and no one told us no for fucking 5 shows.
yes,
So,
that is unreal.
That's crazy.
100%,
Hey,
100%. But that came down to the venues in town not wanting a bar of heavy music, not wanting a bar of hardcore, and
yeah,
when we created some buzz, that's when they were like, "Oh, we'll put something on for you." And we're like, "Oh, well, we're kind." Inherit Nothing specifically was booked out by that point for the rest of the year, which was 2024.
yeah,
Like we weren't in a position to take any more shows, and it's kind of interesting because when we're in these situations and we don't get offered shows, we're told not to take it personally, to be professional about it. But when we're in the position of being offered shows and we would say no, not naming names, but we would quite often get harassed or not so much abused, but like have shit spoken about us. And it's kind of interesting that on one end we're being told not to take it personally and yada yada, and the people who would be telling us that did take it personally, and
You
we're
know why?
quite upset
Because
about it. So,
now you're getting in the way their money. Because before
yeah,
they weren't going to
100%,
pay,
man.
they're not going to pay you either way. They don't want a bar paying
Yeah.
you. But now that you've created some
Yeah.
bars, it's like, well, now
Yeah.
you're getting in the way of me making money, so fuck you.
Yeah, 100%. That's it. That's another thing. We're just not about. We're not about obviously, we got to cover costs and shit, but it's not about
Yeah.
making $1 million, and it's not about fucking being the most famous band. It's not an ego thing for us. It's just having a bit of fun. And if the venues didn't want to play ball and give us what we had planned to do, then all right, we'll go elsewhere. No dramas. But
yeah.
when we don't want to play a part of their plans, it's a bigger problem. And realistically, we're the ones that have to fucking drive to the venue. We're the ones that have to fucking play at that venue.
Yep.
Where you have to,
You're the one.
take
You're
a
the
night
reason
off
why the
work or
crowd's
take it.
there.
Yeah, 100%. And like when it's not in the realm of possibility, like at that time, 2 of our members were fathers. Now it's just me. So it's kind of shouldn't say it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, but it is a little bit because we are parents. We have other priorities outside of music. So like we can only do so much as we would love to play for as many people as possible. It's not always in the realm of possibility. We try and make it as in the realm of possibility as much as we can, but we've also got to look out for our families, our financial state.
Yeah.
We're in a cost of living crisis, so
Yeah.
only so much we can do. So when that's the feedback we get from saying no because we're booked out or we're unavailable, it's like, well, fuck, man, what do we do?
Yeah,
And
can't
look,
win. No,
you can only do what you can do, right? Which is
Yeah,
you
100%,
say, hey,
100%.
look, really sorry, we don't have the availability at the moment. Maybe like if you reach out to us next year, and that's about as much as you can do, right? And if they want to get shitty about it,
100%.
just remember who gets shitty, and then
Yeah, that's it. That's
then
it, man.
don't go there. Like like
go
I
to
say,
the bar next door.
Bar next door, yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, I will say every venue in the cities like Melbourne, Sydney, Wollongong, Newcastle, they have been a delight to work for. They have been absolutely great.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Oh, I can't say a bad thing about any out of town venue that we've worked with. And I'm not trying to shit talk or anything. Not trying to badmouth any local venue, but the scene has been tough to be involved in Albury since we started the band. So yeah, we've done what we can to be where we are. So,
I mean, that's it. You can only kind of do what you can do.
yeah, 100%.
And
100%.
it sounds like you guys found a way when you couldn't really get venues to to still make shit happen. And that's
100%. 100%.
That's admirable. Like you guys didn't just kind of go, oh well, I guess we can't play anywhere. Fucking, we'll just keep it playing in the rehearsal room, and maybe something will change. It's all right.
And
Well,
people came to the rehearsal room, bro.
yeah.
Fucking.
But that's what you do, right? Like you can't get venues.
Yeah,
okay, what's our next option? We'll just be like, all right, well, the gig is come to the fucking rehearsal room and we'll play the shit, right? It's just,
100%, man. 100%, yeah. Because at
Bring
that point, we
bring
just
the mountain to Muhammad.
yeah, we just wanted to play and we wanted people to come see us and we just wanted to have a good time. But same as now, we're just doing it in front of shouldn't say this, but doing it in front of bigger crowds and doing it in front of more cities, and that was the goal.
nothing wrong with with owning your
Having goals, man.
successes. You know,
Yeah,
I know,
yeah, that's
I
it.
recognize that
100%.
there's, you know, issues with, there's severe issues in this country with tall poppy syndrome and, you know, certain scenes. There's like certain scenes and subcultures. There's this thing about like, if you talk about your successes, it's like, it's kind of not taboo necessarily, but it's not viewed particularly well. But I firmly believe, like, you know, it's not bragging if it's true.
Yeah,
In a lot of ways, you know what I mean? Like it's you're stating facts of what's happened, and if you're, as long as you're not being a dick about it, then fine. Like, you know, it's shout your successes from the rooftops as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, we
Anyone
don't have
that's not happy about it.
we have limited time to enjoy ourselves on this planet, and
100%.
I don't think anyone should be ashamed of what they've managed to achieve for themselves, and through working with people and the amazing things they've had the opportunities to do. You know, tell people about them, own them.
Yeah,
Be like, yeah, we
100%,
did this. We've done this. Is all the cool shit that we've done. Like, that's part of the reason that we have this fucking channel and do what we do, is because we want to give people the opportunity to talk about the cool shit they've done. We want to hear about the cool shit people have done, and you know, how that's, you know, how they've managed to achieve that, and what, you know, what other cool shit people have coming up as well. So
100%. Yeah,
And it's not like you're walking around like, you know, it'd be a different story if you're walking around going, "Did you record in America? What's that? No, you didn't. Oh, what? I did. No, then you're a dick. Go home."
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
But if it's there, talk about it. 100%. You should talk about it.
Yeah, well, we had someone on one of our reaction videos a little while ago got a bit snotty with us.
Oh, they
because we were
did too,
commenting.
didn't they?
We were discussing, you know, because when we do the reaction videos, we're not just like, oh yeah, this is great. We're like, hey, like, yep, this is cool. Here's why I like it. We try and dissect things, analyze things, provide a bit of critique.
Yep.
You know, and someone sort of took issue with the fact that I commented like, oh, if I'd been, you know, if I'd been doing the mix on this, I probably would have done, you know, these things slightly differently, right? And someone's commented like, oh, so, you know, you're mixing, you know, what you're who the fuck are you? Like, your mixing could have fucking saved their career, taken them on a bigger trajectory. Like, what are you fucking talking about? You know, what have you done to and I was like, well, since you ask, and I've like rattled off all the shit that Kyle and I have done. And I'm like, and since we're at it though, since we're talking about it, what have you done?
Yeah, 100%.
You know? And then
and
like,
he didn't comment back.
he didn't fucking reply.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I don't like.
I mean, we're here for the engagement, or we were actually just hoping he'd bite back for the more engagement on the YouTube.
Like, and it wasn't like me being like, you know, like, I wasn't doing it out of nowhere. I was like, well, mate, you came onto our video and decided to, you know, talk a bit of trash.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, you asked the question. You know, if he hadn't asked the question, I wouldn't have said it. Yeah. But he asked the question. So I'm like, since you asked, here's the fucking list. And I think I think you know, while that doesn't make me an expert by any means, I think it qualifies me to have an opinion.
Oh, 100%. And realistically, anyone has an opinion because, like, you know, fucking, it's their ears. Like, for example, you know, there's a lot of modern bands that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not going to say I don't like them, but I'm not a fan of because I grew up listening to, you know, a lot of hardcore punk. Avenged Sevenfold was a huge band that I loved, and you know, there's a lot of bands that have gone, in my opinion, a little bit too modern, and just my ears aren't really like, oh my God, I fucking love this. My ears are more like, okay, cool, this sounds like it's from 2007. This is fucking great. And that is just my opinion. That is just my, you know, like, fucking little thing. And I'm one dude, man. Fucking, you know, if you get offended over me saying, like, you know, it's not really my thing, but, you know, he's where you could do better. He's where you could have been worse. Like, you know, all the best to you. Like, if you get offended over that, that's like, that's a you issue, not a me issue. I hope the best for every musician. So
we don't have one of those people that just keep coming back. I'd love to know, like, I would sleep so well at night knowing that I'll live rent free in someone's head and I'll just upset them on the daily for existing. Like I would take so much pleasure in that. Like, oh, that would
Oh,
just
100%, man.
warm the cockles of my soul.
Oh, trust me, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what my you know what kind of reputation I had in the scene back in the day, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, for Jesse, so the short version is just due to. So look, I made mistakes. You know, I did some shit that I probably shouldn't have done, right?
All of us have,
But
man.
there
Exactly.
was a couple of people that just for whatever reason had a hate on for me and would just talk endless shit. And the amount of people that I have met and formed friendships with that have said, like years after meeting me, like, you know, when I first met you, I thought you were an absolute cunt. Like before I met you, I thought you were a cunt.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so and so, like I'd heard all of XYZ stuff about you, and then
I didn't think you were a cunt. People just told me you were, and I went to find out for myself because
Yeah.
I don't believe.
and like
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just like, and I'm like, cool, okay, like yeah, I did some dumb shit, but like that's not everything about who I am, and you know,
Oh, 100%.
and not,
100%,
a lot of it wasn't even based on that either, you know, like a lot of it was just based on, you know, call it professional jealousy or what, like it's the only thing I can think of, right? But you know, it's just
Yeah.
people for whatever reason not liking me and wanting to switch. So it's just, you know, people can I you know, knowing that, like you say, sometimes knowing that you live rent free in someone's head like that can just put a smile on your face.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And look, hey, if any of those people happen to be watching, it's
Leave
okay.
a comment.
It's okay.
And listen
Like
to
if
Inherit
there's
Nothing, please.
if there's issues, talk to me. Don't.
Yeah,
That's it.
100%.
You're much
That's
better
it.
than
But
me.
yes,
I
go
would
and
have said, if you
listen
got
to
an
Hostile
issue,
Party
find a
by Inherit
tissue.
Nothing because it's a fucking
Yeah.
it's a killer album.
Speaking of the
I
album,
appreciate
I've
it,
got to
I appreciate
ask: did you guys record this in house, or did you go?
No, we have a producer. He used to play in a band called Artifact. He now just produces. His name's Andrew, and yeah, he produced the whole album for us, and yeah, very
Out of
very
the
stoked.
out of the conversation, go for the little breakdown part in Mickey's disco.
So I wanted a disco break in that
You
that
got one.
part.
It
And
works.
our guitarist Andy, so I'll refer to him as both Andrew and Andy. So Andy's in the band and Andrew is our producer. And I said to him, all right, I just want a disco break. I don't care if we write it. I don't care if we sample it. I just want a disco break. And he goes, well, the disco break that you and Dylan have come up with sucks. So here's my idea. And while I wasn't in the recording space because I was in hospital at the time, Andy goes, why don't we just sample fucking Dancing Queen by ABBA? And we tried it. It worked. And it stuck.
It works. It works so well.
It does, doesn't it?
It
It's
works
so good.
so well.
And we nearly
my
took it out.
God.
We nearly just had the piano part and then went straight into the breakdown. But it took away because the song's very much a tongue in cheek. This is the the how the nightclub scene was in the 80s kind of thing. It didn't really. It seemed listening to the song without the ABBA part just kind of seemed more like I was rambling on about crap, whereas the ABBA part really enhances all the shit I'm talking. So yeah, it stayed, and yeah, it was the best decision we made.
I love it. I love it. It's such a nice little, like, it was so left field and so unexpected.
Oh,
that
100%, and that's what
it
this
stood
band's
out
all
like
about.
tits on a bull, mate.
100%. This band is about just throwing random shit where you're not gonna like full on
Yeah.
just surprising you. Like for example, when we announced the album, I put up a photo with me and a drummer from an old band that I had from when I was in high school, and Liam had announced that he had parted ways. And I was getting all these messages saying, "Hey, like bit wrong to Liam if you're announcing your drummer so soon. Was Mackenzie in the fold before this? All this sort of shit." Mackenzie, who's the old drummer, he wasn't even a part of the conversation. We just got pissed the night before Good Things, and I'm just like, let's take a photo, brother. And I've gone to him later. I'm just like, hey, like, can I upload this with like a little hint at the album? And he was cool with it, and fucking that's how it was. But there was no announcement of Mackenzie being in anything to do with Inherit Nothing. It was just full on. We were,
People just don't
Yeah.
jump to conclusions. They fucking leap off that cliff, don't they?
Oh, 100%, man.
Yeah.
Like when we put up the ABBA thing, and it was, we put up a photo of ABBA saying Inherit Nothing announcement 7 p.m. and it was the announcement for the new drummer because it'd been about a month at that point. Don't quote me on times, but we always try and surprise people with something. So, like fucking with Mickey's Disco, we surprise people with the ABBA part. With the whole album itself, we surprise people with a punk pop song of St Kilda Beach.
Yes.
We're goofy guys, we're funny blokes. We try and just in a way fuck with people and make them leave them on edge. Leave them like how you're watching WWE in the Attitude Era. Like you never knew who was going to come through the curtain. You never knew who was going to make a return. You never knew who was jumping ship from WCW. Like you never know what's going to happen with an Inherit Nothing announcement or a show or anything like that. So
Sick.
Yeah.
No, but that's good. I mean, it always keeps it fun and interesting then, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Thank you for asking. No one has brought it up to us yet. They've just said, hey, man, the album's great. Love it. I'm just like, bruh, give me some shit about St Kilda Beach. Give me some shit about me.
But I think that's
I
a
just
really
got to
good
shut
way,
this window.
to separate, because we were touching on it before, talking about how you keep a real strong Australian accent in the hardcore music, and considering I know what I sound like a Yank. Do you know what I mean? But that's because all my influences, and that's just what I've taken away from it. You've somehow managed to take all those American influences and still find your own, use your own accent within the same tone, which is just fantastic. What I think might separate you from the American sort of scene is having that real left field shit. I mean, you have a look at what Speed do, having the flute solo on one of their songs. It's just being those larrikin, keeping that larrikin sort of style and doing real funny stuff and keeping it real loosey goosey in a sense and not taking it too seriously is a really good way to establish yourself as Australian hardcore.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, and this is, like we just literally just the other night had an interview with the boys from Broken Earth, and they're very similar. Like, just some of the shit they're doing with their breakdowns is really unique. Like they're not, they kind of take things in directions that people maybe aren't expecting. They try and do something that not everyone's doing with it, so they're bringing something different to the table, and they're just trying to have fun with what they're doing and be, make themselves laugh, basically.
Oh, 100%.
Because if and it's that age old thing, right? Like you have to write music. If you're creating music, you have to create it for yourself first and foremost. Because if you're trying to create it for other people, then that people can smell that. People can smell
100%,
that.
100%,
and
I think
you can't fool all the people all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are always going to eventually catch on.
Yeah. You can't fake it till you make it the whole way. You eventually there's got to be a bit of honesty towards the whole thing.
100%. Well, I showed our bassist an old band that I used to play in, and it was a very drastically different style to what I'm playing, what I play now, and what I genuinely listen to, and what he knows about me. And I was showing him, and he turns around and he goes, "It's like you're wearing a uniform. This is not you at all." And no one really caught on at the time that was how it was. I think everyone thought, oh yeah, you finally come around, you're playing the music that we want to hear, kind of thing, and sort of left it there. But they weren't really hearing like how I was. They weren't really seeing how I was reacting to that. And because I spoke to my partner when I was playing in that band, and she literally said, "It looks like you don't want to be at the shows." And at the time, I didn't. So I'm over the moon that I'm able to play. I formed Inherit Nothing, in 2023. We're playing music that's genuine to me, the music that I want to play, the music that I listen to in my own time. Like it's all just, it's very Jesse. And anyone, if you knew any of my mates and you listened to the album with them, they'd be like, "Yeah, I expected everything on this album from Jesse because he's a good cunt."
It's good. That's bad. That's
But that's
bad.
it. So I mean, look,
Yeah.
you guys have obviously just dropped this album, so that's a good
Yep.
one. And you got a few shows we
Yesterday.
talked about already.
Yep.
Is it too early to ask about what might be in store for the rest of the year? Is there any sort of maybe not if not solidified plans? Is there any sort of goals that you guys
Yeah,
have?
because we've
Maybe?
sort of got up until March.
The goal is to play as many cities as possible before the release of Grand Theft Auto 6. Because when that date gets announced for that month, we're not playing any fucking shows. We're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
buying GTA 6 and we're fucking vegging out. But
Mate, I'm
from
sorry
now
to say,
until then,
you might have a second album out before that happens.
Well, it's crazy
Might be
because
retired.
every other game company is holding off announcing when their shit's coming out because they're
100%,
now
man.
like,
Yeah.
well, we don't want to announce it and then have GTA 6 announced for the same time and then have to
Oh
move
my
our date because
God.
that looks bad. So they're like holding up the fucking game industry at this point. But
Yeah,
No,
100%, man. Yeah.
Do you know
So-
what? Suck shit. Suck shit
is
to all those multi-billion-dollar industries getting scared away by another multi-billion-dollar industry. This is exactly what happens to every single metalhead in Australia. You'll book
Yeah,
shows,
100%.
and then someone famous will come out, and then your whole show's done. Everyone's at that show. Everyone's at the
Yeah,
show with
100%.
famous people,
yeah,
not at your local
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
okay.
right, yeah.
So is there any particular cities that you'd like to try and hit this year? Just in case
So
anyone from those
we-
regions is watching and maybe can
Yeah,
reach out.
Yeah, we haven't played Melbourne as much as we wanted to. I'll start by saying that. Like the first 2 years, we didn't play Melbourne until what I think November. No, October. Sorry, we didn't play Melbourne from when we started the band up until October. Just gone, and that really got at me because I wanted to play Melbourne within the first 12 months of being a band. I wanted to play Melbourne as much as possible, and we weren't able to pull it off until October just gone. Since then, we've played Melbourne for the Good Things Heats, which was amazing. We weren't expecting to get through to the heats, so that we really were very thankful to all our fans and supporters for getting us through to that. We've got Melbourne in a couple of days now, or I think, sorry, in about a week. So we want to play Melbourne again quite a number of times before the GTA release. We also want to head back up to Sydney because Sydney was the first city that gave us our go. I think it was Metal Evolution, Metal on the North Side. They put us on our first like metro city show in Sydney, and we honestly we weren't really prepared at the time, but we were very thankful of the experience nonetheless, and we'd love to head back to Sydney as soon as possible.
I don't think Metal
and play
Evolution's
there.
a thing anymore.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Was that Chat Steel? Was that the one at Chat?
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
Metal
no,
on the North
that's
Side
done.
doesn't happen anymore, but I think
Yeah.
he still runs shows on the odd occasion. But we just
Yeah.
haven't had the chance to work with him again just yet. So yeah,
Dave
but it's the city.
Balfour.
Yeah, it's the city itself.
Yeah.
Like we just love to head back up to Sydney. We'd love to go check out the Harbour Bridge and Opera House again. And we love Sydney, and we'd love to play there again. Also another one, Wollongong, another city that we love playing.
Yeah.
Newcastle, we didn't get a huge turnout to our first Newcastle show, but we'd love to go there again and spend a bit more time there, go to the beaches there and hang out a bit more. Another place we haven't played yet, we'd love to play at, or I'm not talking about the rest of the band. I'd love to play Adelaide. I haven't played Adelaide yet.
Good old
I've got
Radelaide,
family
man.
there.
Radelaide doesn't get enough love. There's so many crazy,
Yeah, no,
talented
100%,
bands from out
100%.
there. There's a very, very tight scene there that if you can do well, if you can get in good with a couple of the bands, you're pretty set because you'll always have shows to play. You'll always have good lineups to play on.
I think we on our end, we haven't done the networking with those bands yet to be on those consistent shows, to be playing there twice a year, 3 times a year yet. So that's something
if you want to do
us.
if you want to do some networking with some bands from Adelaide, I can tell you when and where it'd be a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, hit me up in the
there's
messages.
the Metal to the Max that's out at Broken Hill tends to
Okay,
feature
right.
a lot of Adelaide bands. At least the
Heaps of
first
Adelaide
one
bands.
did, and I think from what I've seen of the lineup for the potential lineup for the second one, that's looking like having a lot of Adelaide bands on there as well. So
Oh,
if
Metal
you
to the Max, did you say?
yes, yeah, it's
Yep.
at the Mad Max 2 replica compound at Silverton.
Okay, all right. Because
So
my
It's a time.
grandparents are from Broken Hill, so I might be able to weave me way in there.
oh hell
from
yeah,
just
you even
seeing
got somewhere to
that.
stay.
There you
No,
go.
they
Oh,
don't. They haven't lived there since
okay.
like the 1970s.
Right.
Oh,
Okay. But
Mate, all the way.
but yeah, well, it
Yeah.
sounds like you got a lot of stuff in mind and hoping to
Oh,
bring it on
100%.
the table for this year. Like, and it's going to be a very busy year because hey, you got a great album to go out there and promote and
Appreciate that.
to get
What
people
a way
on
to
board
start
with.
the year, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
coming out strong.
Like,
For sure. All right.
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll wrap up the podcast there for now. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to chat
That's
with us
okay.
today, Jesse. And
good,
look, for those who have watched on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. If you're listening on the podcast feed, thank you for listening. We're going to have Quick Question Quarter and Get in the Bin coming up this weekend as well. So keep an eye out for those. And we will have our usual reactions dropping always on Mondays and Fridays. And we got Rockin' Around the World every Wednesday. So make sure you keep an eye out for all of those videos. We do have the Patreon if you want to get the videos early and without any ads and all of that junk in them. But yeah, we're going to take that one home. So thank you so much, Jesse. We really, really appreciate that. I have been the Reverend Raff. He has been the Beer Buddy Kyle. You guys have been amazing for watching and or listening this far. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't, downvote the shit out of it. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.